Okay. So where the marker is. Okay. Okay, very nice. So Mahaprabhu met with the Tattvavadis already. So you remember Jai Gurudev. So Giridharpa, you remember Mahaprabhu's discussion with the Tattvavadis, right?
No.
What he established as the goal of life and the means to attain it is very important. And this is what, well, it's changing every day who's present, so maybe you weren't there that morning. I'm also not here every day. But we can just quickly mention that. It's very important. Mahaprabhu meets with the Tattvavadis. They're followers of Madhya. And of course, formally our line appears within the line of Madhya, but some differences in the conception. And so when Mahaprabhu meets with these Tattvavadis, he presents himself in this very humble mood. Maybe Shyamasundari remembers. Remember that discussion? He asks them, I'm very foolish, I'm a young sannyasi, can you tell me what is the goal of life and what is the best means to attain it? You remember that conversation?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's a good one to remember. And so they say the goal of life is liberation. And they don't mean impersonal liberation. They mean, Vaikuntha, right? Going to stay with the Lord in Vaikuntha. And these 4 types of liberation are mentioned. Ramakrishna, he'll tell us what the 4 types of liberation are.
4 types of relation.
4 types of liberation.
I don't know.
Yeah, you remember. Shyamasundari, you remember.
Shyamasundari is the other one.
You both are. Come on, somebody remembers this.
Sarupya?
Yeah, that's one.
Sashi?
Yeah, Sachidiri remembers too.
To have the same form as the Lord?
Sarupya, that's what you said, yeah. Sarupya, Salokya. Salokya, yes. And Sarshti, you said, have the same type of opulence. And then one more. Yeah.
To merge?
No. These are the 4 types of Vaikuntha liberation. We can say. Then that's merging is called. What is it called? Sayujya Mukti. So not that. No, but there's one more positive type in Vaikuntha. Yes, Samipya means to be close. To be close to the Lord. To have some position very close. So yes, these 4 types they mention this as the goal of life, And you can say this makes perfect sense, right? What else would you expect? In this lifetime we will try to dedicate ourselves to the Lord and serve Him, give ourselves to Him, and then we can expect that in the afterlife we'll get like some reward for that, right? We'll get some, we can expect something as a result of that, right? So it sounds like common sense, right? Like in almost any religious conception you find, right? Like in Christianity, we will serve God and love God and so on and so forth, and then when we die we'll go to heaven and we'll be with God. It just makes sense, right? But Mahaprabhu's raised the bar. That's not good enough, So what did Mahaprabhu establish as the goal of life?
What did Mahaprabhu?
What did Mahaprabhu establish as the goal of life? Not to live with God or Krishna or Narayana or whatever aspect, we may say. Not to have his company, his association, to live with him. What is an even higher aspiration, ideal than that? More pure.
To give you love and everything, and without any entitlement of the results. Just to serve the Lord in whatever form, in whatever place. Just to have that connection of service.
Jai. And what name do we give that?
Prema.
Yes, prema. To have prema, to have pure, selfless love for the Lord, regardless of where, how, whatever it may be, right? So like Bhakti Thakur's saying, let me take birth as a worm, as an insect in the home of one of your devotees. But I just want to have have pure love for you. Mahaprabhu, nadanam najanam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti or haitu kitwe. I don't want anything of this world, and I also don't want anything that may be attained in the next world. I don't want any type of liberation also. All I want is birth after birth, the haituki bhakti, pure selfless love for you. So Mahaprabhu tells them, according to my understanding, that's not the goal of life. These 4 types of liberation, and definitely not Sayuja Mukti, but prema, divine love for you, my Lord, which, is independent of anything. It is so pure and so high. So this Mahaprabhu establishes the goal of life, and then he also asks them, what is the method by which we can achieve the goal of life? And they say Varnashram Dharma, by following our social, religious duty within society. But this is an artificial thing. This is a constructed thing. That is something in connection with this world. It has no connection with, entering into a living, a natural, loving relationship with the Lord in His own realm. Our Varnashram system is pertaining to this world. So Mahaprabhu also rejects that. And can anyone guess what he establishes as the method to attain prema, the highest method? Okay, yes, but what is the principal practice by which it will be expressed? Yes. Shravan Kirtan. Yes, he establishes Shravan Kirtan. So Shravan Kirtan as the highest means, and prema as the highest goal, highest aspiration of life. Okay, so that conversation just took place, and we can continue here with Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Dasa Vrindavanam Vande Krishna Dasa Prabhum Tata Janavatar Chaitanya Leela Vistar Karino Do Nityananda Prabja Karunadena Bhushito Vyakta Chano Burachincho Vavande Vyasadupino Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindas Chaganai Saha Jayanti Patakas Ch.Ch Sarvesham Karunartino. Okay, so go here. Kolapure Lakshmi Deki Deken Kira Bhagavati Langa Ganesh Deki Deken Chora Parvati. Mahaprabhu then visited the town of Kolhapur, where he saw the goddess of fortune in the temple of Kira Bhagavati, and saw Langa Ganesh in another temple known as Chora Parvati. Tata hoite pandara pore aila gora chandra vitala thakur deki paila ananda. From there, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Pandarapur, where he happily saw the temple of Vitala Thakur. Premaveshe koilo bahu nartan tahaeka vipratare koilo ni mantram. Mahaprabhu chanted and danced in various ways as usual. A Brahmin, seeing him in ecstatic love, was very pleased and invited the Lord to his home for lunch. Oh, this Mahaprabhu's... Isn't this in... Oh, no. Interesting. Sorry. So Mahaprabhu's chanting and dancing in this temple in ecstasy, and one Brahmin sees him there, and he invites Mahaprabhu to his house for lunch. And it is very beautiful, you see, how the way sannyasis would live. Like, they didn't have any clear plan and program, right? Like, they're just like living in this state of surrender, and whatever comes, that's what comes. And if it doesn't come, it doesn't come, you know. So Mahaprabhu doesn't already have a plan for lunch, you know. But he doesn't know what he's going to do, what he's going to eat. But somebody sees him and invites him. Of course, sometimes he does. Like, if he's staying in one place for some time, then he'll usually get booked up for the next few months, you know. Everyone's competing. They all want to invite him, so they have to organize a schedule, you know, day by day, who will get to invite him. But when he's traveling like this, he doesn't have a fixed program where he's going to sleep, what he's going to eat, where he's going to eat. Everything's happening in a spontaneous type of way. It's a very, very beautiful way to live.
I can imagine in that time, you know, people were even more hospitable. They would see somebody.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
It was so strong in the culture.
Yeah.
And not so many crazy people around. Nowadays we have to live with so much suspicion. But it's a very beautiful way to live, not because we over-plan, you know. Sometimes, you know, we like to put everything in like boxes and feel some false sense of security, you know, that we're worked out for like such and such period of time, you know. This is what we're going to do.
And all the problems come actually from that overloaded mind, right? And so much anxiety and things are not going the way we plan.
Yes. There's one recording where some members of the GBC, they're speaking with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and they mention, oh, we're going to have our annual GBC meetings, we're going to plan for the year ahead, you know, our schedule and different communities. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, you can do that, you know, but, you know, remember, you know, Krishna, he has his own plan, you know, like in those, maybe not exactly those words, but that was the import, you know, like leave some space, you know, for what Krishna may want, you know, don't be too fixed, you know? Don't be too rigid on how you think things should be, you know, but keep some openness, some space there for the unknown, you know, what Krishna may be. So certain
famous, I think John Lennon or something said that, like, life happens to you while you're busy making other plans.
Very nice. Life happens to you while you're busy making other plans. It's like that sometimes. I really suffer from that sometimes. And waste a lot of money sometimes too, because you have some whole arrangement that you've made out like 6 months ahead, and you tickets and this and that. But then when it comes to the time, you realize this was not Krishna's plan. You know, this was not appropriate for this time, you know, at all. But it gives you that security, like it's all worked out, you know, like we have this thing about needing to control, you know, and everything's under control, you know. It's beautiful to live in this type of, you know, free spirit, you know, some balance, of course, not that we just leave everything, you know, but some space there and some openness and not too much rigidity and over planning and so on and so forth. So anyhow, you know, Mahaprabhu is chanting and dancing in this temple, and a Brahmin sees him. He's inspired, of course, and invites him, "Come home, take lunch with me." Bahu dadare Prabhu ke bhiksha korailo, bhiksha kori tate shubhavarta pailo. The Brahmin offered Mahaprabhu food with great respect and love. After finishing his lunch, the Lord received auspicious news. Madhava pushya shiranga purinam se grame vipragrihe koren vishram. Mahaprabhu received word that Sri Rangapuri, one of the disciples of Sri Madhavendra Puri, was present in that village at the home of a Brahmin. So this is very special, right? You know, and we don't hear of so many. You know, this is another generation from Mahaprabhu, right? Mahaprabhu is the grand disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So, you know, this is what would you say, like an uncle, right? So, yeah, it's an uncle guru. He's the god brother of his guru. So this is something very special. Shuniya cholila Prabhu tare deki bade, vipragrihe vasyachen dekila tahare. Hearing this news, Mahaprabhu immediately went to see Sri Rangapuri at the Brahmin's house. Upon entering, the Lord saw him sitting there. Premaveshe kore tare danda paranam, ashupula kampa sarvange padegam. As soon as Mahaprabhu saw Sri Rangapuri, he immediately offered him obeisances in ecstatic love, falling flat on the ground. The symptoms of transcendental transformation were visible, namely tears, jubilation, trembling, and perspiration. I think he's referring... No, wait. Actually, it's not clear who's showing these symptoms of ecstasy, if it's Mahaprabhu or... No, yes, it's Mahaprabhu. Yeah. Mahaprabhu's... He's seeing, you have connection with Madhavendra Puri, Mahaprabhu's in ecstasy. Dekiya vishmita hoilo Sriranga Purir man, Uttaha Shripad bolila vachan. Upon seeing Mahaprabhu in such an ecstatic mood, Sri Rangapuri said, "Your Holiness, please get up." So Rangapuri, he's impressed to see this type of ecstasy in Mahaprabhu. Shripad Doromur Gosayir Sambandha Tahavina Nyachana Hiye Marganda. Your Holiness is certainly related to Sri Madhavendra Puri, without whom there is no fragrance of ecstatic love. So this is very significant. I got confused here at first because there's a very famous meeting which takes place with Mahaprabhu and one Brahmin. We don't hear his name. He's referred to as the Sanodian Brahmin, right? Or actually it's Sanodian, but we always say Sanodian. We don't hear his name. Sanodian, it's referring to a particular class of Brahmins, because it's the whole Varnashram system, it's so intricate, and it's not just that there's Brahmins, but there's so many different types of Brahmins. And so Mahaprabhu this is when Mahaprabhu's in Mathura, which is coming up later in the Madhya Lila. And this class of Brahmins, they're considered like a lower class, and someone of Mahaprabhu's stature should not accept food even from him. know, it wasn't just that you don't take food from lower castes, but even within your own caste, right? Someone of a lower order, it's like really intense. So Mahaprabhu technically isn't supposed to take these, as I remember from the purports, this class of Brahmins, they would act as priests for us. So they weren't supposed to have close connection with someone like Mahaprabhu, who comes from a higher Brahmin family, plus he's a sannyasi, and so on and so forth. So, but when they meet, they have, so just like here, Sri Rangapuri, he sees Mahaprabhu, and he can recognize this particular mood of divine love in Mahaprabhu. And so Rangapuri says, he immediately says, you must have a connection with Madhavendra Puri, otherwise it wouldn't be possible. And we hear, Madhavendra Puri, he has a very special position. He's called the Prem Ankur, the sprout of Krishna Prema, because he came with this particular mood of divine love, which had not been expressed in this world before. It first appeared in Madhavendra Puri. And so, those who had connection with Madhavendra Puri and were graced by him, they could recognize he had something unique and special, and they're also able to recognize it in others who have it. So, here, the first thing Rangapuri says is, you must have a connection with Madhavendra Puri, otherwise it wouldn't be possible that you're manifesting this type of divine love, this type of prema. And so similarly later, when Mahaprabhu meets with the Sanodian Brahmin, that Brahmin, he also says to Mahaprabhu, there's this famous line, how does it go? Madhavendra Purira Sambandha Dar Gyani. I know you must have a relationship with Madhavendra Puri. It must be, Otherwise it wouldn't be possible. We also have some experiences like that, right? Like if we're meeting devotees in our mission, devotees from another mission, we can perceive, like, so you can't exactly like put your finger on it necessarily or explain it in words, but you get some feeling. There's a different type of mood, right? In the disciples of our Gurudev, and those who are culturing, the teachings and the mood and approach that has been given by our Param Gurudev and our Gurudev. There's some difference there in the mood. You can feel it. So similarly, he can recognize. It's a very funny thing, Sometimes you can distinguish, like, this person must be from this mission, or this person must be from that mission. Just in the way that they talk and carry themselves, there's something different, it's a very funny thing. So anyhow, I don't remember this. This isn't so well known, but this meeting with the Sanodian Brahmin later, it's very famous, and we hear Srila Sridhar Maharaj quote that, and many times it's mentioned.
What does Ranga means in Sanskrit?
Ranga, I'm not sure, and I don't know.
We have also Ranga Devi as of the gopis.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Don't know. Okay. Premar Gandha, this type of fragrance, Gandha means a smell, right? A fragrance. So this particular scent of prema that I'm getting from you wouldn't be possible without Madhavendra Puri. So you must have a relationship with Madhavendra Puri.
Is this all happening in South India?
This is in South India, but then after South India, Mahaprabhu goes back to Puri, and from Puri he goes to Vrindavan, and the meeting with this Sanodian Brahmin, it takes place in Mathura by Vrindavan. So that's later. But this is really wonderful for me, because I I mean, I must have read this before, but it never made an imprint. But it's interesting, this point is made twice in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this, perceiving this relation, this particular mood of divine love and how it must have its origin in Madhavendra Puri. You must have a relationship with my guru, like otherwise it's not possible. And then, of course, Mahaprabhu says, yes, I'm, the grand disciple. And of course, this is Mahaprabhu's posing, right? It's so beautiful. He poses in this very humble position, right? As the grand disciple of Madhavendra Puri, who brought this mood to this world. He gives that position to Madhavendra Puri, like the one who first manifests this. That's what the Lord, He loves to do. He loves to give position to His devotees. He doesn't like to take it for Himself. Eta boli Prabhuke utaya koilo alingan, gola goli koriduhe koren knandam. After saying this, Sri Rangapuri lifted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu up and embraced him. As they embraced shoulder to shoulder, they both began to cry in ecstasy. There's this wonderful, recognition and, feeling this shared, love and mood of devotion. So they're embracing and crying in ecstatic joy. Kshaneke aveshtari duhar darja hoilo, Ishvar purir sambandha gosai janailo. After some moments, they came to their senses and became patient. Mahaprabhu then informed Sri Rangapuri about his relationship with Ishvara Puri. Adbhut premervanya duhar uttalila, duhe manya kori duhe anande bosila. They were both inundated by the wonderful ecstasy of love that was aroused in them. Finally, they sat down and respectfully began to converse. Duijane Krishna kata koherachi dine, e mate goailo pancha sata dine. In this way, they discussed topics about Lord Krishna continually for 5 to 7 days. Kotuke puri tare puchi mastan, Gosai kotuke kohe nabadvipanam. Out of curiosity, Sri Rangapuri asked Mahaprabhu about his birthplace, and the Lord informed him that it was Navadvip Dham. And now we have another revelation here. Shri Madhavapurir Sange Shri Rangapuri Purve Ase Achila Teho Nadia Nagari. Sri Rangapuri had formerly gone to Navadvip with Sri Madhavendra Puri, and he therefore remembered the incidents that had taken place there. So he asked Mahaprabhu, so where are you from, by the way? I'm from Navadvip. Oh, I went to Navadvip once with Madhavendra Puri. Jagannath Mishra Gore. He went to the house of his father, Jagannath Mishra. There was one Jagannath Mishra. Jagannath Mishra Gore Bhiksha je korilo, Apurva mochar ganta tahaje kailo. Mocha ganta. You remember mocha ganta?
It's subdued the flower of the thing.
The banana, the plantain, Very, very special dish. So Sachi Mata prepared this mocha ganta. And this is how many years before? 30 years or I don't know, But he's remembering this mocha ganta that Sachi Devi took in the house of Jagannath Mishra, in the company of Madhavendra Puri. As soon as Sri Rangapuri recalled Navadvip, he also recalled accompanying Sri Madhavendra Puri to the house of Jagannath Mishra where Rangapuri had taken lunch. He even remembered the taste of an unprecedented curry made of banana flowers. It's mocha ganta. Jagannater Brahmanite ho Mahapati Ratta Vatsalye hoyente ho Jeno Jaganmata. Shri Rangapuri also remembered the wife of Jagannath Mishra. She was very devoted and chaste. As for her affection, she was exactly like the mother of the universe. Randaneni punata sam nahi chibuvane putra sam sneha koden sanyasi bhojane. He also remembered how Sri Jagannath Mishra's wife, Ch.Ch. Mata, was expert in cooking. He recalled that she was very affectionate toward the sannyasis and fed them exactly like her own sons. Taeka Jogja Putra Kuriyache Sannyas Shankararanyanam Taralpa Vayas. Shri Rangapuri also remembered that one of her deserving sons had accepted the renounced order at a very young age. His name was Shankararanya. More revelation now. So this was Mahaprabhu's elder brother, Vishwarup, right? And his parents, Jagannath Mishra, Ch.Ch. Mata, they wanted him to get married, but he decided to leave home. Didn't want to get married. And so Rangapuri, he remembered him, and then they met also later. So he was Vishwarup, and then he became Shankararanya when he took sannyas. Etirte Shankararanya siddhi prapti hoilo pashtave Shri Rangapuri ete kohilo. Shri Rangapuri informed Mahaprabhu that the sannyasi named Shankararanya had attained perfection in that holy place, Pandarapur. So this is a siddhi prapti. This is like a, what do you call it? Like another way of saying something. I can't remember the name for that. But this is another way of saying he left his body. This is an expression, siddhi prapti. No, there's another word. Oh, I can't think of it. But anyway, siddhi prapti, attained perfection. It's another way of saying he left his body. You know, there's another expression, very funny expression. He went to this pottle, he's picking pottle by the Ganga. Very funny expression, because this type of vegetable pottle, it grows very abundantly by the Ganj, by the Ganga, and so like the idea is like your ashes are put in the Ganga or something like that, you know. So he went to pick pottle at the Ganga, but it means he died. He left his body. So anyhow, this is like news, you know. Mahaprabhu knows everything, but he didn't know, you know, in the relative sense, that his brother had left his body. And actually, one reason that Mahaprabhu gave, like one of his excuses, because it was always hard for him to leave anywhere, because his devotees always try to tie him down, right? So one of his reasons for needing to go to South India was to try to get news of his brother, Vishwarup, right? Because Vishwarup had just left home and they never heard anything about him again. So this was one of Mahaprabhu's excuses. I need to go to South India to find out news about my brother. So now he's meeting this Rangapuri, they're having this incredible meeting, and oh yes, you know, I knew this, you know, Shankararanya, and he's left his body now. He left in this holy place.
In that time, like the names for sannyasis were actually impersonalist names, right? Vishwarup was, he was a devotee, right?
Yes, he was, and I don't know what kind of sannyas he took. Mahaprabhu took sannyas in the Mayavad line, but in South India, Vaishnav sannyas was more widespread. So he may have taken Vaishnav sannyas. I'm not
because
sure.
Because of his name, Shankararanya.
Shankararanya. We are thinking of Shankaracharya, but I don't know if there's a connection there. I don't know. Aranya means forest, and Shanka, I don't know if that's the same. I don't think it's the same Shanka that we blow. I think it's a different spelling here. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate. And I think this Sri Rangapuri, I think he's also a sannyasi. And he's not in the Mayavad. I don't think it's Mayavad sannyas. It was mostly in Bengal that Gurudev mentioned Vaishnav sannyas. It wasn't really available. So that was one reason that's given as to why Mahaprabhu took Mayavad sannyas, because that was readily available. But in South India, it was much more widespread. The Tridanda sannyas. Okay, so at this point, Rangapuri doesn't know that Mahaprabhu's parents are Sachi Mata and Jagannath Mishra, and his brother is Shankararanya. He doesn't know, So now Mahaprabhu is going to tell him. Prabhu kohe purvashrame teho mora brata Jagannatha Mishra purvashrame mor pita. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in my previous ashram, Shankararanya was my brother and Jagannath Mishra was my father. So they would speak in this type of way, my previous ashram. Like when I was in the Grihastha ashram, then he was my father and he was my brother and she was my mother. So there's this type of, it's etiquette, but it's like the social etiquette for a sannyasi, but it's also like showing this type of detachment, right? That there's not this strong bond of family attachment. Wouldn't be, proper to say, oh, my mother, my father, my brother, and so on and so forth, because the sannyasi is supposed to be detached from all these things. Gurudev, he would say, like sometimes, as Dhananjaya's mother. Dhananjaya was his brother, right? So he would say, he wouldn't say my mother, but he'd say Dhananjaya's mother, like that. So, Purva ashram, my previous ashram, that was my brother. I also heard Srila Sridhar, he said something like my previous brother or something like that. He made some comment about that. Hey mata dui jane ishta goshti kori Dwaraka dekite cholila Sri Rangapuri. After finishing his talks with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Rangapuri started for Dwarka Dham. Din chari tata Prabhu ke rakilo Brahman Bhimanadi snan kori koden vitala darshan. After Sri Rangapuri departed for Dwaraka, Mahaprabhu remains with the Brahmin at Pandharpur. So it's this very place that his brother left, where he is now. So he stayed with his Brahmin at Pandharpur for 4 more days. He took his bath in the Bhima river and visited the temple of Vitala. Tobe Mahaprabhu aila Krishna venvatire Nana tirtha dekitaha devata mandire. Mahaprabhu next went to the bank of the Krishna Venva river, where he visited many holy places and the temples of various gods. Brahman Samaj Sa Vaishnav Charit Vaishnav Sakalpore Krishna Karnamrita. The Brahmin community there was composed of pure devotees. They regularly studied a book entitled Krishna Karnamrita, which was composed by Bilva Mangal Thakur. So this is one of the two books, right, that Mahaprabhu brought from South India. What was the other one? Brahma Samhita, yeah.
Do we have the Krishna Karnamrita in English?
I'm sure somebody's done it, but it's not a book that we read, because it's very elevated subject matter, like Ujjvala, Nilamani, like these books. So, Srila Sridhar Maharaj had it printed. We used to sell it in Bengali, and our Gurudev did the translation. Actually, he mentioned that from Sanskrit.
But Maharaj translate it?
No, I think Gurudev did the Bengali translation for that one, Krishna Karnamrita. He mentioned that. Garga Samhita.
Yes.
Sagar Maharaj did Garga Samhita.
And that is not in English?
As I said, I'm sure somebody's translating. I mean, nowadays, everyone's translating everything, Yeah. But the Krishna Karnamrita, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, it was like one of the books we don't read, but at the same time, he didn't want it to go out of print. And so he saw it was like going out of circulation, and just like to keep it alive, keep it some copies in print. And he asked Gurudev to publish it. And Gurudev, he commented, actually I haven't read Krishna Karnamrita, but Guru Maharaj asked me to publish it, and I had to do the Sanskrit, corrections and everything, and proofreading, and so then I memorized it. I didn't actually read it, but in the course of my seva, I memorized it. Yeah, probably somebody else did the translation, and then Gurudev checked it or something like that. They would have like a team of pundits who would also with what was the other book Gurudev mentioned? Maybe it was was it Bhakti? I think it was Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu he mentioned. They had some pundits who did the work, and then Srila Sridhar Maharaj would check, and Gurudev would check, something like that.
What is the
Garga Samhita? Mostly Krishna Leela, right? Many pastimes of Krishna Leela. Many different pastimes. I'm not so familiar with it.
In Kartik Parikrama, Ch.Ch. Maharaj was using Garga Samhita to explain the places.
I see. Okay.
Pastimes,
okay.
Carrying that huge book everywhere.
Yeah.
That one also we shouldn't read, or that one's okay?
I think it's not so high as books like Krishna Karnamrita or Ujjvala Nilamani. I don't think it's like that. I think it's a safer book to read. But I don't know what translation would be recommended. That's the thing. I seem to remember some devotees, maybe it was Vaishnavi in SoCal. Someone was telling me they had some translation they were reading. But it's not something I could recommend just because, you don't know who's the translator. But maybe there's some, good Vaishnava out there who's done it. Could ask Tyagi Maharaj. But Gurudev, he liked Garga Samhita so much. And one thing he mentioned is how the name of Radharani is mentioned so much there in Garga Samhita. Whereas, by comparison, in Bhagavatam, she's not mentioned, she has more a hidden position. But Garga Samhita is more free and more open, and different pastimes are there.
I heard also one time a story from Garga Samhita. and like very beautiful, like how like different stories, like how the mountains are persons and something like that, which like not so, or not what you hear so regular.
Yeah.
Like very nice stories, different.
Yeah. There's also that, I'm just trying to think of the things I've remembered hearing about the text, but there's also that famous question the gopis asked Radharani, how did you get so much devotion to Krishna? And I've heard two different similar occasions that one answer she gave by following Ekadashi, and another was by worshipping Tulasi Devi. But I've heard that's recorded in Garga Samhita. And Gurudev, he mentioned how, as I recall, like in his childhood, he heard so many stories about Krishna Lila which are not in Bhagavatam. And then when he came to read Garga Samhita, he realized, this is where they all are, they're here.
Do you know who the author is?
Garga Rishi, Garga Muni, yeah. And Gurudev liked very much, he has a pranam mantra there to Vyasadev, which he liked very much, because it mentions there in the pranam to Vyasadev, he describes him as Satyavati Kumar. Satyavati Kumar is the son of Satyavati, right? She was the daughter of the fisherman, right? And he said it really struck him, because normally when you think of Vyasadev, you think of like an old man with this big beard, but he really liked this, like thinking of him as the son of Satyavati, very charming. Like also he compared it with Srila Rupa Goswami, how he likes to refer to Mahaprabhu as Ch.Ch. Nandan, like the son of Mother Ch.Ch. It's a very charming way, like the supreme, absolute truth, the supreme Godhead, the source of all that, but he's the son of Ch.Ch. Devi, A very sweet and charming way to refer to him. So yeah, Gurudev, he loves Garga Samhita so much. It was, as I recall, it had been on his bookshelf for many years and he hadn't realized it. And then one of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's, it's in Religion of the Heart, Guru talks about it. And then one of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's godbrothers saw it one day and he was like, whoa, I've been looking all over for a copy of this, and you have it right here, and I really want to publish it. And can I take this copy? I'm going to publish it. And Gurudev hadn't even known it was there, and he was like, oh wow, it's here, But he said, okay, if you can publish it, then you can take it. But like some years went by and he wasn't able to do it. So then Gurudev got it back somehow, and then he ended up publishing it with Sagar Maharaj's help.
I know Madhya Maharaj has it in his computer. It would be nice if you.
All right. Well, should we stop there? We have Ramakrishna with us. We sing for.
Hare Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah.
Hare Namah Krishna
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah. Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. जय सबरिकर श्री गुरु गौरंग राधा गिरिधारी जीव की जय। जय सबरिकर श्री गुरु गौरंग गंधर्व गोविंद सुंदर जीव की जय। जय विष्णुपाचला भक्ति निर्मल चर्च महाराज की जय। जय विष्णुपाचला भक्ति सुंदर गोविंद देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। जय विष्णुपाचला भक्ति रक्षक सिद्धार्थ देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। जय विष्णुपाचला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय श्री रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। अनंत गति वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। जय भक्त भगवान प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। जय शुद्ध भक्ति विघ्न विनाशन श्री सिंहदेव की जय। जय श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय। जय गंगा यमुना जी की जय। जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण श्री राज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य सरस्वती मात की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य सरस्वती मात की जय। समवेत विश्राम मंडल की जय। समवेत भक्त